These are the tools I use. This is a Strathmore drawing medium paper, and the tablet I use is 9 by 12. It has a brown cover, and it's also called the 400 series. It's a common paper made by Strathmore, and it's not perfectly white. It's a off-white or a light cream color, and has a little texture. And I use a kneaded eraser. It's easy to pull up graphite with it. You can shape it with your fingers for small points, for little areas of your drawing, and then put it back into a ball again for larger areas. But I mostly use it for small areas of a drawing. I don't push hard. Use a gentle touch with that. This is a lead holder sharpener, and these are the lead holders I use. There's 3 different kinds of leads. One is 2H for a light pencil line. It's a hard lead. You can see how the lead is held in there by the lead holder. And the other one I use is 2B for the medium tones. And then for the darkest I use 6B, which is more difficult to keep sharp because of how soft it is, but it has a darker tone. So to sharpen the lead holder, you have 2 holes in the sharpener. One is for a deeper depth and one is less, and one's for a sharper point, the deeper one. So I release it out more than I need, fit it down into the hole and push it to the end. Slip it in here and spin it. This one's already sharpened. Now I have a sharp tip. And I'm ready to start my drawing, which I start my drawings with 2H. That's the way I begin. The only reason I use 2H is for the line drawing or the early sketch. The largest part of the drawing is done with 2B and 6B. I tore off a piece of the Strathmore paper, and I tore off the ragged edge here along the perforated line, so I have a clean line here. So now it's a clean piece of paper ready to draw. And I want to show that using the 2H, which is the way I start, that you can see I'm putting a piece of paper here to protect the surface. I don't want finger oils, or no lead is on there yet, no graphite, but so it's not a danger of smearing it. It's mostly that my hand, I don't want the oils from there to harm the surface so that graphite doesn't stick to it. So from the beginning I use a piece of paper like this, but a little more fluently in the beginning because I don't touch the paper much. I'm keeping my hand loose, using large strokes for the early part because I'm trying to find all the pieces that make the early part of the drawing begin. All the big pieces of negative and positive space that I later refine more in the final drawing. So as an example, you may see that the 2H doesn't photograph well or video well. So I could be putting marks on here, as you see here, long strokes of marks to start my drawing, and you can't see it well. You can't see what I'm doing well. You can see a little of it, but all it is an early part of lines, of pieces. I try to keep my lines clean from the beginning, but they're a little sketchier as I start because I'm not committed yet to the shape. I'm still searching for all the areas that make this shape work. So you can see I'm not touching the paper much, but when I know that I'm touching the paper, I put this one down. And I usually use a finger here to hold it in place so it doesn't slide much. So I'm refining a rough shape here using 2H. And if my lines are too sketchy, which is not a true line drawing, a line drawing should be clean lines without a question of where the shape should go. That way later when you're doing the tones, you're not wondering what to do. You can focus on the tones and not on the shape or the piece that's there. You know, you're giving yourself a direction. I think of this as is all information. This part of the drawing is, it's all done for information. I want to know what to do later, like a little map. So to pull up lines that may be a little too sketchy, I use the knead eraser and tap it, pull up sketch lines, which sketch lines pull up easily. If you don't press hard on the paper, it's laying on top of that paper, so you can pull it up. Another reason I use 2H and not a harder lead is because the harder the lead, the more you need to push the lead into the paper and it doesn't pull up easily. It may appear to be light, but you still can't pull it up easily. 2H is still soft enough to pull up with the knead eraser. After I do that, I can see a little better what my shape should be, and I can start to, with a little more control, give a clean edge along my sketch lines. Start to be a little more careful of where things go. Clean lines, a little darker, a little more confident. This could be a corner, and this could be a corner. This is a fast part of the drawing. I don't want it to work too much time into this. So this is the way I do the outlining early, so that later I can put all my tones in without a question, that the proportions are where they should be, and the little big and small shapes that I find are already well defined for me. Not much more needs to be done on this one. This is a simple shape. When my line drawing is ready and my lines are dark enough and clean enough where I can see the shapes to work from, I switch to 6B, which is the darkest graphite I work with. And I sharpen it well and start to look for all of the darkest shapes that I can find. They can be big and small. They need to be, the line drawing needs to be accurate, because at this time you may think it's unusual that I start to find all the dark pieces, because usually I see artists building slowly to put those dark pieces in later. But I want to know from the beginning the darkest areas and the lightest areas, and then when I start to put the 2B in, I have an idea of what the range of tones are between the darkest and lightest areas. It helps me, it works better for me, and also forces me to keep the drawings bold and be sure that the darks are as dark as they should be from the beginning. So in this one I'm finding dark pieces in the areas of the drawing, and carefully you can see I'm less loose and fluent with my way I'm moving. Things are more tight, more careful the way I'm filling things in, more precise.